So just a very, very awesome piece of artwork. So at this point, what I'm going to do is shut down the camera. I'm going to take some more video and this is a street now, so this is somebody's neighborhood. Again, we haven't trespassed on private property. This is all visible as you drive by. And what we're going to do now is I'm going to drive over and we are going to take a look. There's the top of that fountain from back over here. We're going to actually look at the estate, and we're going to walk what used to be the Stonesbury estate, Whitemarsh Hall. Well, folks, I know I promised the next stop would actually be the main estate, but on the way down or up to the main estate, which is literally just up this residential road here, or where it was, is actually the another stone pillar, probably just blocking off water runoff. But this is a complete stone wall, obviously. There's no, on the other end, it wasn't cut off. I would imagine there was a bridge or something here. Also up the road, we're going to stop one more time. There is actually a really interesting front yard where there's a statue from the mansion still in there, so, or in the person's front yard, so, or what's left of a statue. So we're going to do that, and then we'll head up to the main house. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see here, this is in somebody's front yard. It's actually part of a statue that's left, a headless statue. But it's a statue that's left in somebody's yard. And there are rocks that are left over leading up to the home, or what used to be the main home. So we're going to head up there right now, but that's a statue that's just randomly in somebody's front yard on the corner. And ladies and gentlemen, through the trees, this was the main portico entrance to Lynnewood Hall. As we walk up through the trees and walking by, there are now trees and kind of an elevated walkway. But as you walk up the front here, looks like a common walk area or walk through. You could see the stone pillars in front of me. These are very simple stone pillars, as you can see. You can see right up top there was a sign that's left that says no trespassing. From the original mansion, I would imagine, or from the people that had it. Now those signs were not heated, as this mansion was actually torn apart and trashed, as pictures I'll show you on the internet. But as I walk forward, I'm actually walking into or to what was the main front porch of the former estate. You can see the columns are still here. Very, very tall. Very, very tall front portico. This would have been the portico to the front of the building. And as we walk over, this was where the front door would have been placed. See the pins for the front door. And we would walk into what was the main house. And as we walk up over the hill, this is the footprint of the house. Much of what was left, or what was here, is buried underground. To the right, you will see what's left over of one of the garden walkways. And as you take a picture, or as you would take a picture, this is a park right now, I would imagine, or used by the residents. Over here in the walkway, as I'm walking towards this amazing structure, is the end of a house, or it was one of the corners of the house, the main section of the house. The house itself ended right here and ran underground and went all the way back. It was a 150 bedroom mansion, if you remember me talking about it. But these were what would have been a long walkway. And I will walk into this archway so you could see it is a steel structure. It had a light up there at some point with electricity running to it. You could see the wiring and such. Still some leftover plumbing on the keystone. There's a face. And if I step back, I don't want to fall down the steps here, but you can see how beautiful these archways actually are, all the way to the top. Now there would have been a walkway above here, I would imagine. As you can see, the railings again, similar railings as you were looking at it to what we saw. That's the grand entrance of the portico from a distance right here, Whitemarsh Hall. Down over there, you can actually see walkways that led to the palatial gardens. There are still steps, wall structure, beautifully decorated, all the way down, and we'll go down to the end over there if we're able. Little graffiti on these things, unfortunately. And if you look down this way, this would have been, as you see on the sides, a long walkway, or what they called an arcade at the time. And you would come down this arcade turn, and you would walk down these steps. And these steps would take you down to another level of the gardens. There were also, I would imagine, rear and basement entrances. And as we walk down over here, there's still parts of the original house. There's a fence right here so people do not fall. But you can walk down these steps over here. There are still steps. A circular staircase, mind you, or a rounded staircase. Down to what is left of a fountain over here to the left of the camera, which I'm going to show you the layout there. There is a fountain, or what used to be a fountain right there. Absolutely astoundingly beautiful. Oh, sorry, I slipped a little bit there. You can wrench an ankle if you're not careful. Another walkway, which would lead down into here. And if I walk beyond this tree line, again, I can't see the top portico, or I'm actually well below the portico, and there were 3 basement levels in this home. And I would imagine if you drill through this wall, you would get to some of the several basement levels, which were ultimately flooded with water and destroyed. There was a gymnasium. Mr. Stonesbury had a bowling alley. He was an avid bowler. He had a bowling alley in his home. Again, this is a park, I guess, for people who live in this townhome community to use. And more walls of the original structures of the gardens that run all the way down, laid out to another fountain down at the end. Down there probably marked the end of the gardens at some point, but you could see as I zoom in, I'm zooming in the full length and breadth of the camera. Staircase down. A lot of the stuff has been knocked away, probably during the construction. Seat that's left over. Again, this was a 150 bedroom mansion that sat on this site. Largely vandalized and was ultimately torn down in the 80s, in 1980, to make way for this townhouse community. But there are some historical structures still left, and glad they saved the portico. Those columns are beautiful. I believe they're Ionic. I do not believe they are Ionic. They are not Doric or the most plain or Corinthian. Stonesbury liked the simplicity of the Ionic column. Lynnewood Hall, as you will see, actually has Corinthian, which fits the flair of the Wideners. Back to the car, and my next stop, ladies and gentlemen, will be the very much intact 110 bedroom mansion, Lynnewood Hall.